Today we're going to be looking at the life of the pioneering trailblazer Wilma Mankiller, who was born in Tahlequah, Oklahoma in 1945. She was a trailblazing leader, an advocate for Native American rights. As a member of the Cherokee Nation, she grew up in a large family that faced economic challenges, especially after they relocated to San Francisco as part of a federal government program. This was a move that exposed her to activism, and she became deeply involved in the Native American rights movement, particularly during the Occupation of Alcatraz in 1969. She then returned to Oklahoma in the 1970s, where she worked in various capacities for the Cherokee Nation, focusing on community development and self-help programs. Her dedication and leadership skills led to her being elected as the first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation in 1985. As principal chief, which was a tenure that lasted until 1995, she implemented numerous programs that significantly improved the health, education, and economic status of the Cherokee people. She emphasized self-governance and the importance of cultural pride and preservation. Her leadership earned her national recognition and numerous awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1998. She continues to be a powerful voice for Native American issues, and was until her passing in 2010. Her legacy endures through her contributions to the community and the inspiration she provides to future generations of Native American leaders. So let's start from the beginning. Wilma Mankiller was born on November 18, 1945, in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, on the lands of the Cherokee Nation. She was the sixth of 11 children in a family that had significant economic burdens. Her father, Charlie Mankiller, was a full-blooded Cherokee, and her mother, Clara Irene, was of Dutch-Irish descent. The Mankiller family lived in a rural area with no electricity and no indoor plumbing. In the mid-1950s, the Mankiller family participated in the Bureau of Indian Affairs' relocation program, which aimed to assimilate Native Americans into urban settings. They moved to San Francisco, California, in 1956, seeking better opportunities. The move was difficult, and they faced culture shock, poverty, and discrimination against Indigenous Americans. Despite these challenges, Wilma was at the same time exposed to a broader world. She began to understand the social and political issues facing Native Americans. Her experience in San Francisco, especially witnessing the civil rights movement and participating in the 1969 Occupation of Alcatraz, influenced her sense of activism and commitment to her community. This began her lifelong dedication to advocating for Native rights and sovereignty. Let's talk about that Alcatraz morning. In the brisk dawn of November 20th, 1969, a small flotilla of boats carried an unlikely army towards the cold, foreboding silhouette of Alcatraz Island. Among them was the young woman Wilma Mankiller, her heart thudding with a mixture of fear and resolve. The island, once a fortress of isolation and despair, was about to become a beacon of hope and defiance. The air was thick with the spirit of rebellion, each stroke of the oars a heartbeat in the pulse of history. These were not soldiers with weapons, but warriors of a different kind. They were armed with a burning desire for justice and recognition. The occupation of Alcatraz was a turning point, a seismic shift in the landscape of Native American activism. As the boats touched the rocky shore, Wilma stepped onto the island, her mind a tumult of ancestral echoes and contemporary grievances. The occupation, led by Richard Oakes and a group of Native American activists, declared the land Indian land, citing the Treaty of Fort Laramie. For Wilma, this act was more than symbolic. It was a clarion call to reclaim lost dignity and demand a future that honored their past. Wilma's role on the island was both participatory and transformative. She joined hands with activists from diverse tribes, each bringing their unique stories and struggles. The days were filled with planning and negotiation, as the occupiers communicated their demands for federal recognition and the establishment of a cultural center and university on the island. Nights on Alcatraz were cold and restless, the bay's winds whispering tales of resistance. Wilma's presence became a bridge between generations, her youth infused with the wisdom of her elders, her actions guided by the collective will of her people. As the occupation wore on, the resolve of the activists was tested. Supplies dwindled, and the federal government's stance grew increasingly rigid. But Wilma remained steadfast, her spirit undeterred. She saw the occupation not merely as a protest, but as a profound act of storytelling, a narrative etched into the stone and steel of Alcatraz. Each day was a chapter, each challenge a plot twist in the saga of resistance. The island, once a place of isolation, became a crucible where the bonds of solidarity were forged. The occupation would last 19 months, and while it did not result in the immediate fulfillment of all their demands, it sparked a renaissance in Native American activism. For Wilma Mankiller, Alcatraz was a crucible of transformation. It steeled her resolve and deepened her commitment to her people. The spirit of Alcatraz, with its windswept defiance and indomitable hope, remained with her, a guiding force as she went on to become a leader of her nation. In the annals of history, The occupation stands as a testament to the power of collective action, a story of courage, and a young woman's journey into the heart of her own strength. Wilma Mankiller's ascent to leadership in the Cherokee Nation was marked by resilience, dedication, and commitment. Her story, set against the backdrop of the Cherokee Hills, was like an epic, each chapter showing her indomitable spirit. After returning to Oklahoma in the 1970s, Wilma found herself immersed in community work, driven by a vision of empowerment and self-sufficiency for the Cherokee people. She took on a role in the Cherokee Nation's Community Development Department, focusing on grassroots projects that aimed to improve living conditions. Her efforts were not just about bricks and mortar, but about rebuilding the very fabric of her community. She believed in the power of collective effort, and her initiatives often involved the community coming together to achieve common goals. In 1983, she was appointed Deputy Chief of the Cherokee Nation, serving alongside the Principal Chief, Ross Swimmer. Her appointment was met with skepticism and resistance by some, but Wilma's tenacity and capabilities soon won her the respect and trust of her people. When Swimmer left to head the Bureau of Indian Affairs, Wilma stepped into the role of Principal Chief in 1985. She became the first woman to lead the Cherokee Nation. It was a historic moment, not just for the Cherokee, but for all Native communities. Her leadership was characterized with her focus on self-governance, education, and healthcare. She believed that true sovereignty began with the ability to govern oneself and manage one's resources. Under her leadership, the Cherokee Nation saw the establishment of numerous programs aimed at improving health services, educational opportunities, and economic development. She was instrumental in securing federal funds and grants, which were used to build new health clinics, improve schools, and create job opportunities. Her leadership style was inclusive and participatory, always seeking input from the community and ensuring that the benefits of development were widely shared. Despite facing personal health challenges, including a severe car accident and a kidney transplant, Wilma was a tireless advocate for her people. Her tenure as Principal Chief, which lasted until 1985, was marked by significant strides in social and economic well-beings of the Cherokee Nation. She published her autobiography, Mankiller, A Chief and Her People, which chronicled her journey and the struggles and triumphs of the Cherokee. Her story was an inspiration not only for Native Americans, but for women and for marginalized communities everywhere. Wilma Mankiller passed away in 2010, but her legacy endures. Her leadership transformed the Cherokee Nation, instilling a sense of pride and self-resilience that continues to resonate. Her life was a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of a woman's determination to make a difference. Her story is etched into the history of her people. It is a narrative of courage, vision, and commitment to the principles of justice and equality.